Hi, this is Miss Watkins, and I'm going to be walking through the exam review A for Algebra 1A, numbers 1 through 12. So on page 2, the first problem says Jack wants to put a fence around his property. He knows the perimeter of the fence is given by the formula P equals 2L plus 2W. Solve this formula for W. So I'm trying to get the W by itself. I'm going to rewrite the equation, and since I want to get the W by itself, I need to get rid of the 2L. So we're going to subtract 2L on both sides of the equation to keep it balanced. And we get P minus 2L equals 2W. Then I still don't have the W by itself yet, so I need to get rid of the multiplication by 2. So to do that, we're going to do the opposite of multiplying by 2. So we're going to divide everything by 2. So when we simplify this, we get P divided by 2 minus 2 divided by 2 makes 1. So you'll have L by itself, 1L, equals 2 divided by 2 makes 1. So you get W by itself. So here is your equation when you solve for W. Number 2. Gino knows that the formula for converting degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit is Fahrenheit equals 9/5 C plus 32. He also knows how to transform an equation into an equivalent equation, which of the following is correctly solved for C. So in order to do this, I'm going to solve it myself so I can see what it should look like. So the first thing I need to do to get the C by itself is subtract 32 from both sides of the equation. So you have F minus 32 equals 9/5 C. Then I'm going to pull apart this fraction in 2 steps. So I know I'm dividing by 5, so I'm going to multiply by 5 to get rid of the dividing by 5. So then 5 divided by 5 will make 1. So 9C will be left over. And then I'll have 5 times F, and 5 times 32 is 160. And the last thing I need to do is get the C by itself, so I have to divide by 9. So I'm going to rewrite my equation. I have C equals 5F minus 160 divided by 9. So I'm going to look and see where do I see this equation in my answers, and it looks like it matches the same one we have in letter A. So A is the correct answer. Number 3. For items 3 through 5, solve each equation and select the appropriate choice from the 3 choices below the problem and fill in the blank space for that choice only. So first problem, I see I have x's on both sides, so I'm going to combine them first. So 4 plus 2 is 6, so I have 6x equals plus 18 equals 5x plus x is 6x plus 18. Well, I can stop here because I see I have the same exact equation. So this answer will always be true because both sides are identical, or the same. Number 4, I see parentheses, so I know I need to distribute first. So I have 5x minus 10 equals 6x plus 20. So I'm going to start by moving the x to one side. So I'm going to subtract 5x. So I'm left with negative 10 equals x plus 20. And then I still have to get the x by itself, so we're going to subtract 20. So we get x equals negative 30. So since I have one solution, I'm going to pick A. There is one solution, and it is x equals negative 30. The last problem, on this page. Number 5, I see parentheses, so I'm going to distribute first. So we have 9x, and then 9 times negative 3 is negative 27, equals 9x plus 15. Well, I can already see if I take away the 9x, negative 27 does not equal 15. So that means this equation is never true, because negative 27 does not equal 15. So there's no answer to that problem. There's no solution. All right, next problem. Number 6. A food truck sells these items, hot dogs, sodas, and fries. In order to make a spreadsheet, the food truck owner needs to define some variables you see in the table. Write an inequality for the following statement. The number of hot dogs sold in a day was at least 400. So I'm going to look for this. Hot dogs sold in a day. And I see the number of hot dogs sold in a day is represented by H. Then it says is at least 400. So I know at least means it has to be greater than or equal to. So I'm going to write H is greater than or equal to 400. The next problem, what does the inequality S times P sub S is greater than or equal to 1,000 mean? Well, I know S means the number of sodas sold in a day. And P sub S means the price for one soda. So I put that together, it's going to give me the total amount of money earned by selling sodas in a day was at least $1,000. Part C. Write an expression for the total number of hot dogs, sodas, and order of fries sold in a day. So the total sold, I'm looking at the numbers. So I have hot dogs, sodas, and fries sold in a day. So it's just going to be H plus S plus F. Write an expression for the average number of sodas sold per customer in a day. So I know average means I'm going to be dividing. Number of sodas sold per customer in a day. Well, I have to know how many sodas there were. So that was represented by S. And then how many customers there are in a day says C is the total number of customers. So I'm going to take S divided by C. Letter E. On a recent day, less than $2,000 was made selling hot dogs and fries. Write an inequality for this statement. So I know I have less than $2,000. So I'm going to write less than 2,000. And that's money, and we're selling hot dogs and fries. So I have to see how much would I make selling hot dogs. So that would be H and P sub H. So if I have H hot dogs, and each hot dog is a certain price, I have to multiply them to get the total prices for hot dogs. And then the same thing with fries. Look at my table. Fries is F, and the price for a fry is P sub F. So I'm going to have to take F times P sub F. The last problem, on another day, the food truck sold a total of 1,500 hot dogs, fries, and sodas. There were 700 hot dogs sold. So we have a total of 1,500 hot dogs, fries, and sodas. So all of this is a total. So we have a total of 1,500 items. And it says 700 were hot dogs. So I have 700 hot dogs plus the number of sodas sold was 3 times the number of orders of fries. So sodas is going to be 3 times the number of fries. And then I have my French fries. So I have hot dogs plus my soda plus my fries equals a total of 1,500 items. So we're going to solve this equation. First we're going to combine like terms. So we have 700 plus 4f equals 1,500. Then we're going to start solving it by subtracting 700 from both sides. So we have 4f equals 800. And then we need to divide by 4 to see what f would be. So f equals 200. Now I have to go back and answer the question to determine how many orders of fries were sold. So I would say 200 fries were sold. Or 200 orders of fries were sold. Number 7. So Sherry solved this equation. For each step, write the name of the property that Sherry used. So it looks like in the first step, she took 1/5 and distributed it. So that's why it was 1/5 x. And then 1/5 times 20 is 4. So she used the distributive property. The second step, it looks like she was adding 4 to both sides. So she used the addition property of equality. And then the last step, it looks like she multiplied by 5 on both sides. So she used the multiplication property of equality. Number 8. Sherry also has been asked to create a two-step equation with a solution of x equals 10. For each step of her answer below, give the property that she used. So she's building the equation now. It looks like she started by subtracting 3 on both sides. So she used the subtraction property of equality. Then it looks like she multiplied by 5 on this side, and she multiplied by 5 in order to get to 35. So she used the multiplication property. Of equality. And the last step, it looks like she's actually distributing that 5 in the parentheses, so that's how she gets 5x minus 15. So she used the distributive property. Next page. Number 9. On certain multiple choice tests, students earn points for correct answers but lose points for wrong answers. The formula to calculate student score on a test is S equals 2C minus W divided by 4, where S is the student score, C is the number of correct answers, and W is the number of wrong answers. Use this formula, S equals 2C minus W over 4, and answer the following questions. So the first question tells me she got 36 items correct and 12 items wrong. So that means Saul gets 2 times 36 minus 12 divided by 4. We're trying to find out Saul's score. So we're going to multiply 2 times 36 and get 72. And 12 divided by 4 gives you 3. When you subtract, you get 69. So I need to answer the question, what was his score? His score was 69. Letter B, Francois took the test and got a score of 53. So now we know the score is 53, so we replace the S with 53. And she got 29 items correct. So that means I'm replacing the C with 29. We're trying to figure out how many did she get wrong. We need to show our work. So first step, multiply 2 times 29, and we get 58. We're going to subtract 58 from both sides. So we get negative 5 equals negative W divided by 4. In order to get rid of a negative, we're going to multiply by a negative 4. And a negative times a negative turns us into a positive 20. So I need to answer the question, how many did she get wrong? She got 20 questions wrong. Last one, Darko took the test and got a score of 80. So we know his score is 80. He got 8 answers wrong. So we don't know how many he got correct, but he got 8 answers wrong. So I'm plugging those into the equation. So I'm going to solve 80 equals 2C minus 2. We're going to add 2 on both sides. So we get 82 equals 2C. Then we're going to divide by 2 to get the C by itself. So we get C equals 41. So now I go back and answer the question, how many answers did he get wrong? Well, correct. He got 41 correct. So Darko got 41 correct. Number 10. Cami wishes to make bracelets for her friends. She buys a starter kit for $20. So she bought this for $20, and it costs $3.75 for each bracelet she makes. So that means I know we're starting with 20, and it's $3.75 per bracelet. She cannot spend more than $41.20. So can't spend more than means she has to spend less than or equal to $41.25. So now I'm going to put that together. So I have $20 and $3.75 per bracelet. I need to spend less than or equal to $41.25. Where does that match up with my possible equations here? Letter B. 20 plus 3.75b is less than or equal to 41.25. Number 11. Let A and B represent two numbers such that A is greater than B. State whether each statement below is true or false and justify your answer. So, if I have A is greater than B, and I add 8 on both sides, that means this will still be true. A plus 8 will still be greater than B plus 8. Why? Well, because if I add the same number, both sides of an inequality, it doesn't change the direction of the inequality. You could also use numbers here to demonstrate that it would be a true statement. So I could replace A and B with numbers and say, okay, 10 is greater than 5. If I add 10 plus 8, is that still greater than 5 plus 8? Well, yes, 18 is greater than 13, so that's why it's true. The second one, A minus 7 is greater than B minus 7. So same idea, you can subtract the same number on both sides of an inequality and it won't change your sign. Okay, so that would also be true. The next one, if I divide both sides by negative 7, A will no longer be greater than B. Okay, if I need A to be greater than B and I divide those numbers by negative 7, I can show you in an example. So if I have 28 is greater than 14, and I divide by negative 7, I'm saying that negative 4 is greater than negative 2, and that's not a true statement. Negative 4 is smaller than negative 2. So when you multiply by a negative number, the inequality must be changed. The next one says that A divided by negative 10 is going to be less than B divided by negative 10. So if I plug in my original numbers, I'm saying 10 divided by negative 10 is less than 5 divided by negative 10. I'm going to divide. Negative 1 is less than negative 1/2. That's a true statement. So when you're dividing by a negative, number, the inequality must be changed. And they already changed it here in the problem. They switched it to less than instead of greater than. Number 12. Mr. Flood needs to hire a plumber to fix a leak, and the plumber charges a service fee of $50 to come to the house, and a rate of $100 per hour to fix the leak. If the plumber works any fraction of an hour, she will charge for only a portion of the $100. For example, if she works for half an hour, she will charge $50. The plumber takes 2.7 hours to fix the leak. How much does Mr. have to pay? Well, we know the total cost is going to be $50 to come to the house plus $100 per hour. So if I replace the number of hours with 2.7, we get the total cost is 50 plus 270. So if you add that together, you get 320. So how much will Mr. Flood have to pay? Answer the question. Mr. Flood will have to pay $320. Letter B, Mr. Flood hopes to spend at most $600. So at most means I'm using an inequality. At most means he doesn't want to spend over that amount, so it's less than or equal to $600. Let H represent the number of hours required to fix the leak. So they're telling me the variable I need to use in my inequality. So instead of using X, I'm going to use H for number of hours. Write an inequality that models this situation. It's right here. 50 plus 100, H is less than or equal to 600. Part C, solve the inequality. So if I solve the inequality, first step, I'm going to subtract 50. So I have 100. H is less than or equal to 550. Then you divide by 100. So H is less than or equal to 5.5. Next step, graph the solutions to the inequality on the number line below. The domain of the variable is all positive real numbers. So I know I have to have less than or equal to 5.5. So at 5.5, I'm going to put a closed circle. And that means he can work anywhere less than 5.5 hours. So I'm going to fill in all the way down to 0. But I'm really not going to pay him because he comes to the house and does nothing. So I'm going to put an open circle around 0 to show they're not getting paid at 0, but they could get paid at a quarter of an hour or an eighth of an hour. And the last part says, what is the meaning of your solution in the context of the problem? So what does this solution really mean? Well, it means in order for Mr. Flood to pay at most $600, the plumber can spend at most 5.5 hours fixing the leak. And that concludes problems 1 through 12.